everyone, Craig from Arms and Armor and the Oakshot Institute. And today we're going to start a series of looking at how rapiers evolved and were made. Today we're going to look at a piece from the Oakshot Institute. This is an original rapier from the beginning of the 16th century, probably Iberian in origin, and take a look at some of the elements of it, of how this was made. When we look at a rapier hilt, we see these large bars that sweep around the hand, form loops and connecting rods that evolve around the piece to create the structure that protects the hand. Here we can see this back guard that smooths way down and along. And if you look at it very closely, it gives us some clues on how this was assembled. You can just see a shunt line right through this section right here in a very a fine inclusion of silicates and some non-metallic material at the point where the two pieces were welded together. So you can see that a hilt like this might have multiple branches that are done by using a cold chisel, or a hot cut is what we would call it today in blacksmithing, where you use a chisel and you go in and you cut the piece of material to create a series of fingers. And then these fingers can be bent and arranged to create the style or piece of the sword. Now, if I've got multiple fingers coming off here, I might have a finger that comes this way and a finger that comes this way, and that's why we would get a shunt right along this bar here, because this has been welded together. Now, doing forge welding like that, which is where you take the two pieces of metal, get it very, very hot, and then apply pressure in some way, usually on an anvil and a hammer. That's the way layered steel is produced, all those kind of things. It can be difficult when working with light materials like this. This is because the anvil and the hammer face will work as heat sinks. They will draw the appropriate temperature out of the metal and make it very difficult for that forge weld to take. That is why in lighter pieces like this, something that blacksmiths will use is a tongs, and they will tong weld. So they will take those pieces and squeeze them with the tongs. Much less mass, great amount of pressure, and you don't have to worry about getting a hot piece from the fire onto an anvil face and then hit it with a hammer. You literally can do it just above the flame, or in the flame almost, with the tongs. So in that kind of a context, you would see how these bars could be made, especially with the heavy decoration on them. People will think, well, I got to make this bar with a decoration and then somehow forge weld these in here. Now, where it comes down and meets a ring like this is almost certainly a spot where this has been pinch welded. But in a spot like here, you might have multiple pieces coming together, forge welded or pinch welded in this area. And then the welded area is where you put your detail and such, and create all the pieces by hammering, filing, doing the different elements for decoration, right where you have a large mass that's easier to weld together than those tiny thin bars that you sometimes see on rapiers. So that's one of the aspects of how a rapier would be constructed, and we'll look at more as we go along on a couple different pieces from Arms and Armor and from the Oakshot Institute. I hope you find this interesting as we explore how rapiers came about. If you are interested in this kind of thing, check out some of our other videos and hit the subscribe button when you get a chance.